In war, you might have 5 minutes to make a life or death decision. But if your opponent is 5 seconds faster than you, you're dead. That is the core of China's modern warfare philosophy. While the rest of the world struggles to scale up, upgrade hardware, or experiment with new materials, China has chosen a different path. In just 24 months, they have engineered a radical weapons ecosystem that is forcing Pentagon strategists to tear up and rewrite their entire war playbook. What exactly happened? When algorithms surpass the speed of decision-making, what role do humans still play? If you want to discover what China has achieved and the 6 new military platforms driving this lightning-fast evolution of Chinese power, stay with us until the end of this video. Haven't faced a threat like this since World War II. That was the official warning from Admiral John Aquilino during a U.S. Senate hearing regarding China. But what truly unnerves the West isn't just the scale or the volume of weapons produced each year. It is the speed of evolution surpassing every traditional predictive model. Not just faster, exponentially faster. While the Pentagon remains bogged down in protracted budget debates and aging supply chains, Beijing has accelerated its hardware development to a near impossible pace. The shift from mechanization to intelligentization doesn't just exist in software or control algorithms. It is forged directly into the massive hulls operating across the oceans. A structural leap. The clearest embodiment of this shift is the Supercarrier Type 004, which has just entered its first phase of sea trials. In January 2026, high-resolution satellite imagery confirmed the vessel leaving the shipyard to officially begin its blue water operations. This is no longer a copy of Soviet technology. This is an entirely new platform. It's the first time China has successfully integrated a high-output nuclear reactor into a frontline carrier. That changes the entire game. With a displacement of approximately 110,000 tons, the Type 052DL surpasses the Nimitz class and approaches the standard of the Gerald R. Ford-class supercarriers. But size isn't the most terrifying aspect of this machine in a modern theater of war. The crux lies in its nuclear propulsion, allowing for continuous operation without refueling for extended durations. Unlimited range. Zero logistics dependency. This means the ship can maintain a military presence in any ocean for months or even years on end. A geopolitical paradigm shift. In traditional naval warfare, the greatest vulnerability of any fleet is its fuel and logistics tail. But with the Type 004, that weakness is effectively removed from the combat equation. This machine doesn't need to turn back. Furthermore, the Type 004 is equipped with a next-generation EMALS, electromagnetic aircraft launch system, fully synchronized with its nuclear core. This system utilizes high-intensity electromagnetic pulses to launch 40-ton aircraft with superior stability and frequency, significantly faster, drastically less wear and tear. It transforms the ship into a continuous sortie factory, capable of maintaining relentless airstrike pressure with virtually no downtime. A hornet's nest on the sea. However, the part that truly haunts Western strategists is the entirely new defensive suite integrated directly into the hull. The massive energy from the reactor isn't just for propulsion or launching jets. It is channeled directly into high-power directed energy weapons, DEW. Specifically, 100-kilowatt laser weapon clusters can be fired continuously to intercept cruise missiles and swarms of attack UAVs. No reloading required, only energy. In a combat scenario, when traditional air defense missiles run out, most warships become extremely vulnerable. But with the Type 004, the shield stays up as long as the reactor is running. A near-infinite magazine. This poses a fundamental question for all modern war doctrines. When a system can self-sustain its power, protect itself, and deploy its own strikes indefinitely, does its actual limit even exist? The Type 004 is more than just a new carrier launched in 2026. It is a strategic manifesto. A declaration that the game on the high seas is changing far faster than the rest of the world ever predicted. And if this is only one piece of a larger system, then what comes next will be far more formidable. If the Type 004 is a steel fist on the ocean, then in the skies, China has created a direct counterweight to the F-35 Lightning II using a completely different approach. Not a fighter jet, but a strategic bomber. This is the H-20, the next-generation stealth platform that has just emerged from the shadows and entered live fire testing. After being announced in late 2025, the system began conducting patrol flights in distant air defense zones in early 2026. No longer a concept, but a combat reality. Unlike the West's optimization of multi-role fighters like the F-35, the H-20 is engineered with a singular objective: long-range strategic strike. With a combat radius of approximately 13,000 kilometers without refueling, it can reach targets from distances that most defense systems cannot react to in time, a number that shatters all limits. This means the aircraft can take off from deep within the mainland, traverse multiple layers of airspace, and strike targets without complex logistical support, a transcontinental strike. But range is only the first layer of the story. The H-20 utilizes a tailless flying wing configuration, a design that optimizes stealth by completely eliminating radar-reflecting surfaces. No redundant angles, no distinct signature. Its radar cross-section, RCS, is estimated at a mere 0.0001 square meters, equivalent to a tiny object in the vastness of space, a literal phantom. Combined with next-generation composite materials and radar-absorbent coatings, the H-20 can penetrate deep into enemy airspace without being detected until it's too late. And when it is detected, it is already over. The internal weapons bay of this platform is capable of carrying a diverse payload, including at least 4 long-range hypersonic missiles reaching speeds over Mach 5, a strike that is virtually impossible to intercept. This creates an entirely new scenario. A stealth platform approaches undetected, then unleashes ordnance at speeds that exceed the capability to react. A closed-loop kill chain. However, the most notable aspect isn't the individual specs of the H-20. It is how it integrates into the broader combat system China is building. It does not operate in isolation. It is part of a network. The H-20 can coordinate with satellite constellations, stealth drones, and central command platforms to create a multi-layered strike ecosystem, a continuous linked network. This means the decision to strike no longer originates from a single pilot or command center. It is distributed across the entire system, where data is processed in real time and the response is nearly instantaneous. A leap in speed, and this is precisely what makes the H-20 more dangerous than any bomber in history. It is not just a stealth bomber. It is a platform that expands the scope of warfare to a global scale without the need for immediate physical presence. Following closely is the J-35 fighter. Unveiled in September 2025, it rapidly became the next generation commissioned onto the aircraft carrier Fujian by February 2026. This is a 5th-generation stealth fighter specifically engineered for fleet warfare with the capability to control airspace and achieve absolute air superiority in maritime combat environments. A platform born for the ocean. Unlike traditional fighters adapted for carriers, the J-35 was developed from day one to operate under harsh takeoff and landing conditions and high-tempo deployment cycles. An uncompromising design. Equipped with dual WS-19 engines providing approximately 12 tons of thrust each, this platform ensures rapid acceleration and stable performance even under heavy payloads. More powerful, more stable. When combined with the EMALS electromagnetic catapults on next-generation carriers, the J-35 can launch with a full ordnance load without sacrificing response speed. A decisive advantage, but the most notable feature isn't the engine or the speed. It's how it sees and understands the battlefield in real time. The integrated DAS, distributed aperture system, allows the pilot 360-degree vision through the aircraft's fuselage via a smart helmet. No more blind spots, no more dead zones. This transforms the J-35 from a mere fighter into a flying sensor hub, where data is collected, processed, and shared continuously. A vital link in the network. When integrated with AESA radar and advanced data link systems, each J-35 does more than just fight, it transmits target data to the entire fleet. It does not operate in isolation. It operates as a component of a unified system. In simulation scenarios, the J-35 has demonstrated its ability to compete directly with the F-35C in terms of reaction speed and weapons payload under specific conditions. A head-to-head confrontation. Yet the true difference doesn't lie in individual specs. It lies in how this platform is integrated into the entire combat ecosystem China is constructing. The J-35 doesn't just protect the skies for supercarriers like the Type 004 or the Fujian. It acts as a trailblazer, guiding and coordinating strikes from other platforms, a strategic intermediary layer. And when every platform is connected, every sortie is no longer a single mission. It is a chain reaction triggered across the entire system. If the skies above the fleet are locked down, then the rest of the battlefield is only a matter of time. What happens if the deadliest threat isn't in the sky or on the sea, but hidden entirely beneath the ocean floor? That is the role of the Type 096, the strategic nuclear-powered submarine class that commenced its first deterrent patrol in early 2026. Not for the first strike, but to guarantee the final blow. In modern military doctrine, ballistic missile submarines, SSBENs, are a vital component of strategic deterrence, a survival insurance. The Type 096 measures approximately 150 meters in length and is equipped with 16 launch tubes for JL-3 missiles, boasting a range of up to 12,000 kilometers, a transcontinental reach. To put that into perspective, this range allows it to strike from the middle of the Pacific and still reach the adversary's mainland. No need to get close. Compared to its predecessor, the Type 094, which suffered from high noise levels and was easily tracked by U.S. sonar networks, the Type 096 has undergone a massive evolution in acoustic stealth, a distinct leap forward. A pump jet propulsion system replaces the traditional propeller, minimizing cavitation and drastically reducing the noise signature while moving underwater. Quieter, harder to detect. The Type 096's noise level is estimated to approach 90 decibels, closing the gap with modern U.S. Navy submarines like the Ohio class under certain operating conditions. A narrowing divide. In an oceanic environment where sound is the only factor in detecting a target, reducing noise by even a few decibels can decide the survival of an entire system. A life-or-death difference. This allows the Type 096 to hide in deep waters for extended periods without ever revealing its position. A true phantom. Unlike aircraft carriers or bombers, a submarine doesn't need to be seen to project strategic pressure. It only needs to exist. Its mere presence forces the adversary to maintain constant vigilance and expend massive resources to hunt a virtually invisible target. A silent war of attrition. When placed alongside the H-20 in the air and the Type 004 on the surface, the Type 096 completes a three-tiered deterrence structure: air, sea, and subsurface. A closed-loop system. Compared to the traditional U.S. deterrent model, China is moving closer to establishing a full nuclear triad with the capability to counterstrike from every direction. Number 5 is not a machine, yet it is a force capable of neutralizing hundreds of machines. This is the DF-27 hypersonic missile system, a game changer. Unlike carriers or fighters that can be tracked and intercepted through traditional protocols, this is the weapon that sent shockwaves through regional security the moment it was unveiled. The DF-27 is engineered to pierce through every modern defensive layer using extreme speed and unpredictable trajectories. Not random, but impossible to pattern. Having completed its testing phase in late 2025, the DF-27 has proven its capability to strike moving targets at sea from distances of up to 8,000 kilometers, a range that lies far beyond traditional control zones. This means that even carrier strike groups constantly on the move are no longer safe. A fundamental shift in the reality of war. Equipped with a hypersonic glide vehicle, HGV, the DF-27 can reach speeds of up to Mach 15 exceeding 18,000 kilometers per hour in its terminal phase, faster than any possible reaction. To put it simply, at this speed, the window from detection to impact can be measured in minutes or even seconds in certain scenarios. Zero reaction time. Unlike traditional ballistic missiles that follow a fixed parabolic arc, the DF-27's warhead has the ability to maneuver and change direction during its descent toward the target. An unpredictable trajectory. This leaves defensive systems like the Patriot or modern missile shields struggling to achieve a target lock or calculate an interception point. An equation with almost no solution. Beyond raw speed, the DF-27 is equipped with dual-mode guidance combining satellite positioning with infrared sensors in the final stage to ensure pinpoint accuracy. A margin of error of a few meters. This transforms it from a broad deterrent into a precision strike tool capable of hitting specific targets like a warship's command bridge or a hardened military base. A selective strike. Compared to previous missile systems, the DF-27 isn't just an upgrade in speed or range. It changes the way entire defensive architectures must operate. A doctrinal leap. While traditional air defense systems are designed to engage targets flying predictable paths, the DF-27 forces the adversary to confront an entirely new paradox. How do you intercept a target when you cannot predict where it will be in the next second? A tactical stalemate. And it is at this very point that the cost-exchange ratio collapses. A multi-billion-dollar defense system can be bypassed by a single strike that lasts only a few minutes. If the previous system still resembled traditional weaponry, then this next step looks almost nothing like a weapon at all. It looks quite ordinary. This is the Gutian UAV mothership, a flight platform that looks more like a light transport aircraft than a combat vehicle. No aggressive angles, no complex stealth contours. With a wingspan of approximately 25 meters and a takeoff weight of around 10 tons, the Gutian is large enough to carry heavy payloads, but unremarkable from a distance. A silhouette that appears almost harmless, the fuselage is designed with simple, straight wings in a spacious belly, optimized for storage rather than aerial combat. A carrier platform. And that is the crux of the matter. The Gutian wasn't born to fight. It was born to carry the things that will fight for it. A completely different role. Inside its fuselage is a modular system capable of holding anywhere from dozens to over 100 drones, depending on the mission configuration. Not a weapon, but a launch pad. As it nears the target area at an altitude of 10 to 14 kilometers, the bay doors open, releasing an entire swarm of drones in a matter of seconds. A single decisive moment. Instantly, the sky shifts from tranquility to a dense network of targets moving in every possible direction. An instantaneous transformation. These drones are small, typically weighing from a few kilograms to a few dozen kilograms, just enough to carry sensors, jammers, or explosive warheads. Small but lethal. Unlike a fighter jet, an individual drone doesn't pose a massive threat. But when they appear in the dozens or even hundreds simultaneously, they exert a pressure that exceeds the processing capacity of any defense system. A saturation attack. The real breakthrough lies in how they operate. Each drone is equipped with lightweight AI and a mesh network system, allowing them to share data and coordinate actions without a single central controller. A swarm intelligence. No single drone is the leader. Yet the entire system functions as a unified entity, a structure without a single point of failure. In this formation, one group of drones scouts ahead to identify targets, another provides electronic jamming to blind radar systems, and the final layer carries out the direct kinetic strikes, a simultaneous chain of action. The entire process happens almost at once, making it impossible for the adversary to distinguish between the primary threat and the decoys. A controlled chaos. Compared to a traditional fighter that can only engage one or a few targets per sortie, this system generates dozens of strike points across an entire theater at once. The sky is no longer just a battlefield. It has become an ecosystem of destruction. The presence of these 6 super machines in 2026 proves more than just China's transition beyond the catch-up phase. It signals the establishment of new physical limits for the entire global military system. The gap hasn't just been closed, the boundaries have been moved. In your opinion, will China truly become the dominant dragon of Asia in the coming decade? If a large-scale conflict were to break out, could the U.S. still maintain its edge? Or has the game already flipped? Leave your perspective in the comments below, and let's discuss the future of global power.